So here we are, the end of the last day. The end of the last day. So I guess I'd kind of like to wrap up this portion of the trip. I'm going to go to Madrid, spend a couple of days there, maybe about 3 days there, 4 days. Tomorrow's a travel day, so maybe 3 days there. And I might share some videos of that. But the trip is, as far as the Camino, is over, which is fine. You know, I want to throw some practical tips out here real quick. If you're going to do the Camino, strongly suggest, don't end your Camino in Santiago. Go on from there to Muxia, and Finisterre, and specifically in that order. I did it the other way around. I did Finisterre and then Muxia, and you know what? In retrospect, I think it was kind of a mistake. Muxia is cool. It's a great place. Love the place. You saw the church and the monument earlier in the video. I think that that's great. But you know, if you follow the path from there, you can go into Finisterre, spend some, and that's really a good ending place. That's a better place to end it. I regret having done it in this order. I don't know why I did. It just seemed like the thing to do. So don't do it in this order. Also, I want to point out there's a couple of good places along the way. I stayed gosh, I can't remember the city of now, but I stayed at this Hura. I got to put it in the comments, but I stayed at this one albergue. The people were great. I had a great room. I got a room of my own. I had a great room. The food was really good. Nothing spectacular, but just good. It was pilgrim food, but it was good pilgrim food. It was very good pilgrim food. And the people were very friendly, very kind. And they also run a transport service if you wanted to transport your bags right there at the place. They also have a taxi right there at the place. So it really is a good location. So I would recommend there. Here in Muxia, I'm staying at a place called, oh gosh, darn it, I'm never going to remember these names. Habitat CM here in Muxia, and the place is great and the people are wonderful. The place is a good place. It's a good place right in the center of town. As you're passing through, if you're staying at pensions, it's a good pension to stay at. Had a good shower. The thing that really makes it for me, though, is how extraordinarily helpful and kind the staff were. That means a huge amount to me. And I tell you what, they were very helpful, very kind, great location. So Habitat CM, if you're going to stay in a pension here in Muxia, that's the place to stay. And again, the other place. But the thing I wanted to mention too, though, was when it comes to the whole planning of this stage of your Camino. If you follow the books, they'll tell you to do it in 4 days. You can't. You really can't. And you know, the thing with the books is that what they're doing is they're looking at where you can get accommodations. So they're looking at places where it's like, okay, this is a place where there's several albergues, just stay there. Not necessarily a great idea to do it that way. There's a big spans in between, and I tell you what, at the end of the day, on a couple of these, getting into Finisterre, just the day before, I was just wiped out. I was just dead. And you're rushing to get through at a decent hour, and you're missing the beauty. So, you know, now what I did was I reserved. Now, a lot of people don't reserve, but I heard that the Française was inundated with people, and I heard all this stuff. So I intentionally didn't reserve. I intentionally reserved and did it that way. That was a big mistake on my part. Really, just just walk it. Go as far as you could. Maybe push it a little bit farther, or maybe not. But when you find a place, just stop and stay. It doesn't seem like a lot of people are doing the Muxia Finisterre route. Maybe with this video, a few more of you will. But just do that. Just walk it. Take 5 days. Take 6 even. Because like I said earlier, someone told me that this is the most beautiful part of the Camino. And it is. I mean, it really, really is. I hope some of my videos made that clear. You can go to my Instagram under my name, Bill Giovinazzo or William Giovinazzo. It's a Giovinazzo. And you can see the pictures there. It's just gorgeous here. And really, you should walk it. So those are some, really you should walk it, and you should walk it leisurely. If you try to do it according to the guidebooks, you're going to be rushing, you're going to be exhausted. By the end of the day, you're going to be miserable. Don't do it that way. Ignore the guidebooks as far as when to stop and all that. In fact, I would suggest you just ignore the guidebooks completely and just get yourself a good app on the phone. I use Wise Pilgrim. It worked great for me. Other people swear by others. I used to love Camino Ninja, but we all know the story of what happened with the guy who developed that. Okay, so those are the practical tips. Beyond the practical tips, just talking about the Camino itself and what I might have gained from it, and what my thoughts were. It was a bit anticlimactic getting here, getting to Finisterre. Finisterre is more of a party than here. This is much more quiet, but it's not as much of a party as what you see in Santiago, which is fine. It was a little bit anticlimactic, I guess, after Santiago to go to Finisterre and go to here to Muxia, and you're just kind of like, here, hey, it's here. You saw in the videos, in both the videos from today and yesterday. I'm here. Okay, let's look around. Okay, let's move on. And you would think it's a bit anticlimactic, but it really isn't. I know there is no big flash bang party kind of stuff, but I finished, and that feels really good. And and the Camino isn't flash bang party. I heard someone say while I was on the Del Norte that they were planning to do the Del Norte. This was on Facebook because of the wine and the food of northern Spain. And it's like, if you're going for wine and food, the Camino isn't for you. I mean, it's not a movable bacchanalian feast. You can find good food on the Camino. I learned how to do that, and I talked about that in other videos. But if you're coming for wine and food, don't do the Camino. The Camino, yes, you could get good wine and food, but that shouldn't be your primary motivation. At least I don't think so. For me, the Camino was transformational. Last year, the transformation went kind of internal. I changed as a person inside for the better, at least I think for the better. I became more mindful. It was a bit challenging with me on this one. I started thinking about a lot of other things as I walked on, and I wasn't quite as mindful, but I did try to practice mindfulness. But I became more mindful, and I became more aware of Stoicism. That's something I said in the very first video, is trying to really practice Stoicism in my life. Something that I think cuts across all faith traditions. And Stoicism could be anything you want and still be a Stoic. So the transformation, this one was also transformational. I came to the real, I've said multiple times, the Camino is life in microcosm, or a microcosm in life. I got to look up what the way of saying that is. But it is. And like I said, last year was internal. What happened to me this year? This year, even though I did develop a great Camino family last year, this year the emphasis kind of saw me, I kind of saw deeper how we fit into community, and the value of friendship, and the value of having others that are walking the same path, i.e. the Camino, and the Camino being life, people that walk along with you in life, people that share the burdens. I might see the value and having those people in life. They just make life better. I mean, the way I like walking the Camino is to walk during the day, and then at night you get together with your friends, and you eat dinner, and you talk, and you drink, and you have a good time. And and when I say drink, I'm not talking about getting drunk. You have a beer or two, and you might have a glass of wine. Sure, there are people that get drunk on the Camino, but generally I've seen them as being shunned. But it's really about just good friendship and good fellowship. And I learned that on the Camino. And the other thing I learned was the people of Spain. I didn't have the best impression of the people in Spain from my first Camino, but boy, was I wrong, because this year, I mean, they could not have been kinder. I mean, just as nice could be. I told you Habitat CM, where I'm staying today. The woman behind the desk was just wonderful, just a good person that helped me out. Same thing with all the people along the way. They were just wonderful. If they saw you going the wrong way, and they really saved me a couple of times, they'd point it out and they'd get you pointed in the right direction. It was really quite nice. So you have got a cyclist going by. So the people of Spain are just wonderful. They were great. I really enjoyed them, and it just gave me a sense of, we're all just trying to walk our path. We're all just trying to walk our Camino, and how we fit in and help others along that path has been brought to greater importance to me on this trip. So, one of the things too from last year was, when I got to Santiago, in front of the cathedral, I was going around going, well, would you learn? And a lot of people didn't really have an answer, because you had to take time for it to sink in. And that's what happened with me. I really didn't have a good answer for the transformation that I went through until well after the Camino, and I would suspect that in future months I'll have greater insight into what I've acquired as a result of this one. But I've talked for quite a bit of time. Wow, 12 minutes. I hope you're still all with me. Anyways, this is the end of the last day, day 41. Tomorrow I head for Madrid. So for those of you who are walking the Camino, buen Camino. For those of you who are no longer walking, or who have walked, you know what? We're still pilgrims, folks. Our Camino may not be in Spain. You may not be walking the path, and some of the arrows and the directions and the maps may not be quite clear. But we're all pilgrims. And we're all trying to get to the same destination, where we'll be celebrating like we did that day in Santiago. So, I'm going to say buen Camino, because our Camino isn't over. Buen Camino.